Deathwatch. Welcome to the Nameless Horror, a Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition investigation by Deathwatch Productions. Our investigators are in the small eastern Pennsylvania town of Stowell, each for their own reasons, and that's where we will rejoin them after we introduce our investigators, starting with Chris.
Hi, I'm playing Oscar Herman, a World War I vet and currently undercover FBI agent who has been sent to this town in hopes of gaining access to a secret society, the Wipers' Pals. And this is kind of my initiation test to see if there's anything up here.
I'm Travis. I'm playing Rob Wolf. That's Rob Rumble Wolf, former Missouri heavyweight champion. And I've just been in a gunfight, so my blood's up. I know I won't be sleeping tonight.
And now it's back to the old days, the blood for blood days.
But I'm breathing real hard and just trying to catch my breath and get a handle on the situation.
And I'm John, playing former Boston PD, now bounty hunter, Tony Ray Spates, who's on a job to recover a book for a client and realizing that he probably should have spent more time at the gun range.
Okay, so last session ended after a gunfight at Jensen's farm. And you guys had snuck around a bit and found that they're holding a captive inside the home. And they've got some pigs and some that were being fed corpses. And there's still some corpses on the ground outside the pig pen waiting to be put in there.
And some new one.
And now new ones, right? Because you had surprise attacked them and killed all of them except for one who ran off into the night across the field. But that's where we pick back up. You're out there on the farm grounds and the fight's over. And so what would you like to do?
Well, I want to walk over to that bench where that radio thing is and
Right.
grab it up out of the bag real quick, take a look at it. But the main purpose is to show it to the other gentleman with me.
Okay.
And particularly Mr. Spates. You remember how Alexander was the cop's name, right? Sheriff Alexander?
Yeah. As he looks like the thing
Mr.
that
Spates,
he was using.
You remember Alexander had one of these? What's it, a radio?
Well, that's what it looks like at first.
Is it
but
made of like flesh?
no, it's not. It's just got all sorts of weird additions to it, like copper wire wrapped around crystals that are, screwed into the plastic of the radio itself. So it's not something it's not a design you've seen. It's clearly homemade. But yeah, that's sitting over on a bench nearby the fire.
Is it obvious how to use it?
No, there is what looks like a push button on it that
I won't push it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show it to Mr. Spates. Hey, Mr. Spates, you remember Sheriff Alexander had one of these. They were talking to him before all the shooting started.
Yeah. I think we should take it with us, but we ought to be careful with it. We don't know if anybody may be listening. It's only a matter of time before that one that got away gets back to town and ends up running straight to Sheriff Alexander. I think we should finish our business here and head out to, I don't know, maybe next town over or two. So I don't think it's going to be very safe for us to go back, not with the way that everybody in this town's acting.
You guys didn't find Mrs. Brizendine in there, did you?
No, we found someone
No, we
else.
found someone else, but there were some bodies that they hadn't fed to the pigs. If you guys are all right with it, I'll go check those out if you two want to go and release that girl inside.
All right.
Sounds good. What do you want to do with this mess here on the floor? On the ground, I should say. Just leave him?
Kick some dirt on it.
I'll see if I can get him covered up. I think she's been through enough. Doesn't necessarily need to see all this.
Throw him to the pigs.
Well, yeah, that's an option, but there's also this whole lot full of cars that
Just
are,
hide him somewhere.
yeah, next to the barn. So
Just drag him over to the side of the barn. I mean, whatever's closest inside, next to it, whatever. 'Cause I'm
Okay.
not too worried about hiding the evidence of what happened here. I think it's going to be found out unless we take him with us, which not really willing to do.
I'll fall behind Mr. Herman. We're heading to the house, I guess.
Yeah. Follow me, I'll show you the way. So I'll go back through the front door and go to the room where the lady's been chained to the bed.
okay.
For your...
Yeah, so you walk into that room and she's still on the bed. She's awake. Her eyes are wide and she's mumbling to herself and doesn't seem to notice that you're there. But as you approach to free her, then she does notice. And so she starts thrashing around and screaming at the top of her lungs.
Well, let's see if I got some way to calm her. I guess I got decent enough persuade. Fail. Have to put a bullet in her, too. That's going to be sad. Yeah, so I'll try persuading her,
Okay.
calm down, ma'am. We're not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
They're dead. We saw to that. Don't you fail me, you dice. Is that a 90? 97. They failed me. Oh, man.
Maybe I'll see how it's going and maybe take handling an animal type approach. Not handle animal skill. That's not what I mean. But in more like body language and whatnot rather than the words you say.
Yeah.
So can I shoot a charm out there?
Yeah, charm, persuade, or psychology is what we're looking for here.
Yeah, so I'll just be like, hey, that's all right now, ma'am. We're going to be okay. Or regular success.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so Oscar's trying to calm her down, but she's shrieking so loud, like you can't even hear your own words, and it's not having any effect. But Rob steps forward and he's making some soothing gestures, and so she calms down a little bit, and you can see that her eyes now are recognizing, they're looking at you now rather than just
Got a 1,000-yard stare?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she realizes that you're not the people that were tormenting her. And you can see this relief wash over her face, and she starts crying. But she does say that you've got to get me back to my husband. I need to get back to my husband.
We'll get you there in no time.
Where's your husband?
He is the manager of Elmer's Steakhouse, and he should be there now, judging by what time it is. But she says her husband's name is Arnold, and he doesn't know that she's missing, and she needs to get back to him.
How long have you been here, ma'am?
She says, I don't know.
What's your name?
Gladys McDermott. My name's Gladys McDermott.
All right, Gladys, we're going to get you out of here. Oh, you're going to have to kind of ignore the scene out there.
Yeah, so she tells you her name's Gladys, and then as soon as you start saying that, you can see that whatever lucidity she had is gone, and now she's just sort of staring at the wall, not really paying any attention. I mean, she's still sort of mumbling under her breath, but she doesn't appear to be all there. Now, she's being held by handcuffs is what they're using to cuff her to the bedpost there.
I'll spot around for any key for it, maybe on the off chance it's in here, but I don't think I can get it open, not unless I do some feat of strength.
No, there is a key. It's on there's like a little table away from the bed.
Okay.
And they just left it on there. So basically she's perfectly malleable. Like you can get her to stand up and follow. She's not giving any resistance, but she's also clearly not
Catatonic.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Boy, would have liked to got my hands on those guys rather than shooting them.
I don't know. Saved us some time. I'm going to take the handcuffs and the keys.
Okay.
Just in case. I don't know if I agree with Tony saying that we should head over to the next town. I think we should get her out of here. But I think I kind of want to get on this problem, whatever it may be.
Back you up, Mr. Herman. I don't think It's a good outlook for Miss Brizendine seeing all this, but she's been good to me since I've been here, and I try to be good to the people who take care of me, you know?
Mm-hmm. So I say we probably head back into town, lay low, maybe watch, see if what's our hornet's nest this kicks up.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on, or keep an ear peeled into that contraption you picked up.
Yeah, lay real low, because even if it wasn't for that guy got away, I've been in enough towns where they just go to the outsider when they come across something like this.
Mm-hmm.
You got any idea where we might do that?
I don't think I was able to hear that was Sheriff Alexander on the end of the crystal, but I've had it confirmed by both above John and Travis's character.
Yeah.
So what was your...
Do you have any idea where we might lay low? Or maybe I do, I don't know.
Well...
Because I hung out somewhere for a little while when I got here.
Well, besides the boarding house? Is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
like somewhere, because I've been kind of semi-vagrant going from town to town.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have some sort of propensity to find a place like where those people go or where, because I know from my reading, you're getting run off the rails by the railroad dicks. You're getting run out of town by the sheriff or constable.
Law.
And so you kind of need a way to lay low, but I don't have
crash pad.
A real skill for it.
Would it be?
Sometimes that stuff comes into your particular education or intelligence.
Yeah,
for that character.
Let's do that.
Don't say education.
Intelligence.
Oh,
we'll do intelligence. Yeah.
I don't know much, but I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. That I know. Barely made it. Oh no, I failed. Dang it! I'll spend the 7 luck though, if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. You do happen to know, because you were nearby trying to get a job when you first got to town, at the cannery, which is south of town.
Okay.
You do happen to know that it's a pretty long road that leads to the cannery. But on that road, at the mouth of it, there are some houses, and you do happen to know that 2 of them were empty because the owners had been evicted and nobody's bought them.
There are a couple houses by the cannery that the owners were evicted out of. We might be able to set up there for a little while till we figure out what's what.
Sounds good. How are you against violence against the local authority?
Well, I tried to avoid it, but...
I'm just wondering, because it seems like Deputy Alexander's probably got himself in over his head. Might have to pull him out of this mess. Help him see reason.
Well, I have learned that sometimes local authority is authority in name only.
All right. Maybe those houses might be a good place to take Deputy Alexander, have a talk to him. We'll run it past Tony, see what he thinks. So, let's start leading her outside. Maybe I'll go and look in the boss's room. What was his name?
Jensen.
Okay. Yeah, Jensen's room. See if we can find a set of car keys for one of the wrecks outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then, Rob, are you going up there too, or are you just going to take her outside?
Oh, I'll probably get her out of the hell house.
Okay.
Get her under the night sky. Maybe she can catch Spates moving one of those bodies. That'll do her some good.
Okay. So, Oscar, you go upstairs to Jensen's room, what you assume to be Jensen's room. And it's got that whole pile of, wallets and purses and billfolds and stuff that have all been emptied of money. And then he's got like a table beside the bed there. When you can open that, there's not any keys.
I'm trying to remember if there's even car keys in this era.
I don't think so. Maybe. But there's just like a half empty bottle in there of some dark booze. And there's a few 45 caliber bullets. And then there's a chest that has what you assume to be his clothes that are in bad need of sewing and washing, but that's pretty much all you find up there.
It looks like 1910 is when they start showing up.
Okay.
And then it doesn't replace the actual ignition. So it's still like key and crank for like another 10 years. All right. So I guess there might be some models out there that don't have a key requirement.
Yeah, out in the junkyard area.
Yeah. So maybe we can just go see if we got some working.
Okay.
Because I plan on sending someone with Gladys, was that her name?
Yeah.
Over to the next town, get her taken care of, and then heading back into town and keep an eye or maybe even abduct or confront Alexander, depending on how long it takes for the other person to get back.
So, Rob, were you taking Gladys outside and she's following along and not causing any trouble or offering any resistance, but she does at one point suddenly look up at you with a smile. She says, "You have no idea what they did to me, but the great mind saw." And that's it. Then she just goes back to staring off into space.
I'll push her to the ground. Why did you say that?
Just start punching.
Yeah, I'll just make, yeah, well, sure thing, man.
And then
Great mind. That's part of what they were saying, too, when they're yelling at the sky.
It's also part of what that one guy that took off at insane speeds was saying right before he did so.
The eye will see me. I wanted to splice when you did that, because that's pretty good. I have a collection of funny audio clips.
Set it to some dubstep and get some womp womp going.
My favorite is John saying, "I'm a motorcycle." Because we were doing like,
When was that?
I think it was D&D. I can't remember, but it was like we would become a vehicle. Somebody would morph into a vehicle. Is that ringing a bell for any? It was a gag we were doing for a couple sessions in a row.
Was it because of the motorcycle outside of Justin's house?
I mean, yeah, that was part of it, but it was also, it was during play. I don't know. He just sort of randomly like, "I'm a motorcycle, blah, 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 blah." But it probably was when we stopped now, because I would have cut that out when I was, yeah, that's probably what it is.
So what you have is a bunch of out of context clips of us.
Yeah, it was CB.
Sorry.
all right. And then Tony or Rob, did you keep that Tommy gun?
No,
I
not really.
thought he did.
Okay.
The player in me would like to have it, but I wouldn't do anybody any good shooting that Tommy gun. I can't remember what the skill starts for.
Submachine guns?
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Because that's what mine is.
And then Tony, you managed to get those bodies dragged over out of the way.
Hey, so you said there was an additional body than the two that Mr. Spates was aware of?
Yeah.
Sorry. I guess I have no in-game reason to think about that. But I remember you saying it last time. Did they cover them up or anything like that, or just a bunch of corpses in the back?
They're
Well, they were acting as the coroner.
Right.
So they were just
wrapped in a tarp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then they just dumped them outside the pig pen by the front of the barn.
Your curiosity going to get the better of you, Rumble Rob?
To see who they are, no, I'm busy.
I avoid sand loss whenever possible.
With the,
I was going to take
the
a look
woman.
and see who they were for the ones that I like over by the pig pen, over by the truck, if they've started piling them there.
Yeah. So you recognize the woman and the man from the eviction that you witnessed, Tony.
Okay.
It was
That's over by the back of the truck?
Yeah, pretty much like out in front of the barn, pretty close to the side where the pig pen is. And that was Mr. Dahlhoff and his wife, Geraldine. You recognize them, which, raises some questions for you, since Mr. Dahlhoff was not dead when you left.
No.
At the
At
foreclosure,
this point, so at this point, I'm just assuming that they're gonna kill damn near everybody. Because I don't know their reason, but they definitely don't have any remorse for it. It seems like.
Yeah. So then the other body that was still there, that was there first, is you recognize as Petunia Brizendine.
Those sons of guns.
They don't even, they're just disposing. They might
Right.
not.
The thing about her body, though, is that a lot of it has already been eaten, and it's clear not by pigs.
Right. Well, I mean, we know there was foul play involved because of the state of her room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were then later attacked by most likely the same guy.
Yeah.
Of course,
But I guess I don't know this yet, but we do have now a question of if they're sending bodies of people that are killed here, what happened to the other, what the hell is he called on that? The guy that was attempting to seize the house along with, because there was the other guy that got shot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the deputy or something? Or who was it that got shot there?
Yeah,
I was trying to
his,
remember.
his partner or whatever he is.
Yeah, there was.
Did he get killed, though, or just shot?
Oh, he got killed. His head was turned into mist. But you don't see that body here.
Which means my fox molder-like conspiracy theories start to get to go, and when I find that out, what are they
Are
doing
you
to the
thinking
bodies?
Reincarnation?
Well, everyone in the town is acting weird, so it could be either it could be one of many ways that they're facilitating that. I don't think my character has a thought on it yet.
I do want to get, what's her name, settled on the bench.
Okay.
Gladys.
I don't have much to offer you if you're thirsty or anything like that. Not the booze that they had, but if you'd like a drink, I'll get you one. Maybe it'll help you so you're not facing this straight on.
She doesn't answer, but she does look to you and say, "Are you going to take me to my husband? I need to see my husband.
Yes, we will. We just have a few things we got to figure out first.
He'll be very worried about me."
Well, you just hang tight right here. I got to go talk to my friend, and we'll be gone soon enough.
You don't know what they did to me,
I can imagine.
but the terror from the stars will get them.
What do you mean when you say that?
She's back to staring off into space.
Oh, man. I think they broke her mind. But I'll leave her there if I'm certain she'll stay where she is. And I'll head over to Mr. Spates and get caught up with what he's seen.
Okay.
But I want to ask him about that. I'll be like, you hear what they were shouting out here around the fire, Mr. Spates? When they were drinking before the shooting started? Did you hear what they were saying?
I don't quite recall.
Was it the eight great eye sees me? Is that what it was? I forget.
Yeah.
The eye in the sky, the terror from the stars. Well, maybe it makes no difference. Just gave me the wheelies what they were saying. And the funny thing is, the woman, she's talking that way too. You hear anything like that back in town? Because I sure haven't.
If I remember right, as there's something right around the time of the shootout, either before or right afterwards, as someone had made a mention, or maybe it was while Alexander was talking on that radio.
They were shouting stuff like that periodically, but I guess I'm breaking Cthulhu's own rule.
What do you think? It's like some new denomination or something?
I don't know. It's
Been a while since I've been to church.
there's a lot of spiritual, new spirituality happening these days. Is who knows exactly what it is at this point? People try to communicate with the dead for years. Yeah,
I went to one of those, a seance once. Old girlfriend back in my boxing days.
Yeah, and Tony, you've had some experiences with that. So it's possible. I mean, in your own experience, it's possible to speak with the dead because you've experienced that as a child. With that woman that you go see that does your tarot, I forgot her name. Off the top of my head, but
because they don't need to know that though.
Sometimes you get funny looks.
Yeah,
sure.
But who knows
Liza.
what new things are popping up all the time. As I'm not going to discount it, but if there's something in the sky that can see everything, then it means we just need to move quicker.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going funny in the head, I guess I still could be. Anyhow, you get hit in the head too many times,
The things we've seen tonight can make anybody funny in the head.
But if you didn't hear what they were saying, they would just look up to this point in the sky. I'll kind of point the general area out to him, and they would, they were saying things like the eye in the sky, the terror from the stars, and the great mind. And if it is a church, that don't exactly sound Christian to me, but that's what they were saying. And this woman saying something like that too.
Do I see anything up there?
In the sky?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
imagine lots of stars,
yeah.
but
No, you see nothing.
There's always a chance that he could see something.
Well, do you have astrology or what's the
Astronomy.
astronomy or whatever?
Although astrology might
No.
be too.
Occult, maybe you could fill that.
Well, you could do education roll.
I think I rolled natural world.
Yeah, or natural world. Yeah, natural world would be the best. Yeah, so, there's just stars up there.
There's some stars up there, but, again,
All right,
I
so
don't know that there's going to be anything we'll be able to do about it if there is something up there.
So Tony and Rob are over by the bodies. Where were you?
I had gone upstairs to check to see if there were any car keys
Okay.
and came up with nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
All right, so just I'll head out and head over to them.
Okay.
Quickly stop, make sure Gladys seems to be just sitting.
Yeah, she's just sitting on this bench that Rob put her on, and she's staring up in the sky.
All right.
Just,
So then I'll head over to them. No luck on the car keys, so we're just going to have to hope some of them are just able to go. Any of them still run. I was thinking
They might just be in the vehicle, too.
quite possibly. But thinking that one of us heads over to the next town with Gladys, gets her taken care of, while the other two head back into town, keep an eye on on Deputy Alexander, possibly even get him if we can. Capture.
Sounds good to me. Who's doing what? I can go either way.
So
I suppose I know where we're laying low in town, so maybe I ought to go that way.
That's right. Robbie has a couple of abandoned houses. We're going to make that our forward operating position for going forward here. I was kind of hoping that you'd take her into town, Tony. You seem to have some legal mindset about yourself. Maybe any local law enforcement would take you more seriously than they would some writer and a vagabond boxer.
Yeah, I can get her taken care of.
All right. If you do it quick, I promise I won't act on anything for one day unless they act upon us first.
Yeah, don't hesitate.
I won't. All right, let's go check these cars. And I'll walk over to the car pile and start seeing if any of them run, starting with the ones that are probably most accessible.
Yeah, and pretty much right away you find one that looks relatively new.
All right.
And well maintained, and it starts up right away.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Spates, did that fellow that ran off get a look at you guys in the house? I think he might have seen Mr. Herman, but I didn't really see you from where I was.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. He was by the fire. I figure his night vision was probably shot. He probably crashed headlong into a tree. At that speed, he probably took care of himself.
Right. He was running awful weird. Anyhow, I just thought
maybe you guys will see him on the way back.
You might be okay, a little better off than I or Mr. Herman would way in town. Might be something to consider. If somebody has to make an appearance without making a lot of noise, you might be the guy to do it.
I don't know. I figure us being in a small town, we're probably pegged.
Yeah, for when we have to, Mr. Herman. I was just thinking.
Understandable. All right, Tony. I'll extend my hand for farewell handshake.
Yeah, I'll shake his hand and shake Rob's hand. Tell him to be careful, and then I'll be back as soon as I can.
Oh, we will. You too. Especially if I'll kind of lower my voice and look over to Gladys, especially if she's as messed up after what she's been through. She probably ain't thinking too sound, so keep an eye on her. All right, Robbie, let's get back into town. Take the back roads.
You got a bus. Do I have to? Am I a good navigator? I just drive the cars. I don't really know where I'm going. You got to tell me where to go.
I don't think I'm a good navigator.
Well, back to town, there's just the one road.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll give them the affirmative, as you do with somebody you're working for, even though you can't comply.
Well, there's got to be more than just like the main road through town type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get in town, there's a bunch of roads.
Right. Yeah, so I'll stick to the one that we came out here on, and then when we get to town, I'll sort of skirt around and work my way to those houses by the cannery, the south side of town.
Okay.
The car out of sight.
Yeah.
If you're able to.
Try to do that.
All right, so you're driving back towards town on that Buttonwood Road, and when you get to about a mile outside of town, you see somebody stumbling along the road in the ditch to the side of the road. You guys can see.
He stumbles and falls into the...
Are you by yourself?
No, I'm driving...
with Oscar?
Yep, Mr. Herman.
Yeah. Yeah, so you both see.
Wonder if that's our guy that took off.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, wouldn't you know?
Well, that's lucky. I'll start pulling over that way, even if you don't ask me to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll just stop right there and
I'll,
start getting out.
in the drive, I would have reloaded my gun if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I'll pull that out of its holster. And
What do you want to do here, Mr. Herman?
Yeah, so as soon as you start pulling over, he sees you and he starts running towards you, waving his arm. Help! Help!
Maybe just let him get in the car and then we drive the rest of the way to the house.
yeah,
You keep that gat on him.
I'll put my gun away, or at least hide it.
Okay.
Where are you heading?
They're crazy. They're crazy. They killed everybody. There's a murderer on the loose. Multiple murderers. They just killed all my friends back at Jensen's farm. You got to get me into town.
Quick, hop in. We'll get you there.
Yeah. So he hops in. I mean, he hadn't seen any of you, so he doesn't realize. So he hops in and he's like, you wouldn't believe it. I was with my friends. And he starts telling the whole story. And he's like, I think I got 2 or 3 of them, but there must have been more because they killed all my friends. And I'm a really good shot. So I know I at least got a couple of them, but they're all dead. Everybody's dead. I had to get out of there. Got to get back into town and we got to find. And he sort of just starts, he's got his mouth open and he's just gentle rock back and forth. It's like, we got to find. And then he just goes silent and just rocking back and forth there. Like you can tell looking at him, he's what you might, he's got the look and the sound of somebody that you might call touched or slow,
Right.
He didn't seem that way when he was talking, but he does now.
Yeah, okay.
I should say.
I'll kind of look over at Rob. Then I'll just kind of keep an eye on him. Oh, man, maybe. Yeah, F it. I'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, well, I'll stick to the plan then, or the new quick one, and work my way on the outskirts towards those houses with him in the car.
All right. Yeah. So you're driving down that road and he's just rocking back and forth and he's like, the eye in the great eye in the sky saw everything. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. And
what's that?
when you get to that road where you would turn, he's like looking north. He's like, wait, you're going the wrong way. I gotta find, and then he just gets out of the car.
While it's going?
Yeah.
Do we have any opportunity? Did he get in the back, I presume, with Herman?
Yeah.
Maybe he had a chance
So
to nab
you can
him.
try and grab him. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll try to brawl him, right? You figure that's about right?
Yeah, that'd probably be best.
Where is it? Well, we found it here, so we'll go from here. Come on.
We're all good brawlers.
Extreme success.
Yeah. So you go to grab him and he's trying to pull away, but you just got too good of a hold on him. So you pull him back in the car.
Yeah, so can I grab him and thump him with the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you hit him in the head and that knocks him out and he just sort of falls back into you.
Crazy son of a bitch. I'll handcuff him.
Okay.
Were there multiple sets of handcuffs?
Yeah. There were 2.
Yeah, let's get his legs too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get out, help him if he needs it.
Far more hospitable than you've been.
All right. So a left turn on Cannery Road, which has for the first block, basically the distance that would be a block. There's, 3 houses on the right and 3 houses on the left. And then that it goes on for about a half mile with nothing until it gets to the cannery itself. But past the 3 houses on the left, probably about 100 yards is one last home set back away from the road.
Okay.
And that one, for sure is empty. And the last one on the right side is empty as well. But that one has a next door neighbor that's pretty close to him. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll probably pick the more secluded one that was set back from the road. I'll try to park the car out of sight from the road if I can.
It's easy enough. This is set back from the road. And also it's pretty wooded property. Right.
Okay.
And so it's easy to get around to the side of the house, which is behind some big trees to make the car. In fact, you can't even see the house from the road, really.
Yeah.
You can if you go further down Cannery Road, like if you're coming back from the cannery, you can see it. But from the north side to all the way to horizontal, you can't really even see the house itself. You can just see the trees. So it's easy to get hidden back there.
Yeah, so I
and
think
there's like a porch light on.
right when we park, I think I'll be like, maybe you should stay in the car for a minute, Mr. Herman. I can go knock on the door, see if anybody's home, and if they are, I can say I just took a wrong turn. Might be a little bit harder to explain if we're carrying a guy out of the car. That's just what I was thinking. Maybe if your thoughts are different, we can do something else. That's just what I was thinking.
No, go right ahead.
Okay, so Tony, you're taking Gladys somewhere?
Yeah, we were going to go. Now, what is the nearest town?
So here, let me get that for you. So traveling east along that Buttonwood Road, the nearest town is probably going to be, I guess it would be a town called Wyndham.
How far away is that?
So from that farm, you're looking at 5 miles.
Is there another one as well after that?
Actually, I kind of lied to you. That would be 5 miles as the crow flies. You're not flying in a crow. And the road gets pretty windy and heads north for a bit and skirts around a lake. So you're actually looking at it's actually closer to 10 miles.
I'll give it a shot and see if there's... I will head over there. As my concern is that if it's too close, whatever's happening here may also be happening over there. But
well, then the next town beyond that is quite a distance away. Like that's a town called Mahoopany, and that's quite a distance away.
Okay. Well, I'll go to the one that's the one that'll be 10 miles and let's see if we can get a feel for the place.
Yeah. So that'd be Wyndham. And so you're headed there. Now, as you're driving, she's not really saying much for a while, but eventually she does look up and she's got that sharpness in her eyes again. And she's like, this is the wrong way. This is not the way to my husband.
No, ma'am, it's not. It's not safe back in town. I wanted to get you safe, and then I'm going to go back and get your husband. I'll bring him to you.
So at this point, she goes ballistic and she starts screaming, banging on the glass, swinging at you, kicking the dash. And she's screaming hard enough that it seems like it's going to damage her vocal cords, that she has to get to her husband. He manages the Elmer's Steakhouse and he'll know what to do. And he'll be missing her by now. Do you have charm, persuade, or psychology? You're going to need one of those, or you'll need to knock her out.
I'm going to do intimidate instead.
Okay.
It's after this night. Well, I mean, after a night like tonight, and I'm not feeling as socially charitable as to try and waste time persuading her. Plus, I know what's best. So
yeah. For sure.
Oof.
All right. Yeah. So do that.
Fail.
Okay. You want to push?
Yeah, I'll push it. What's the consequence?
Well, there's no telling. In the state
I'm gonna have to open the door and push her out.
Yeah. In the state she's in, it could be catastrophic if you fail or not. So
this Fantasy Grounds seems very unforgiving on the fail rate here.
Oh, man.
All right. So you intimidate her. You can see this fear snap into her eyes and she goes silent and she sort of like backs away, like as into the door as she can get. And she's staring at you with terror, but she does go silent and she stops her kicking and flailing. But she does repeat that she needs to see her husband. And the terror from the stars will not look kindly on you.
Once she quiets down, I'll tell her that, you will see your husband, but it's obvious that you're in no state to go back to that town, especially with everything that's there.
Okay. Yeah. So she doesn't respond, but she keeps staring daggers at you, but she is calm. After about 5 minutes, she sits back up straight and looks ahead and gets that listless look back on her face, and where it seems like she's not really even there. But yeah, she doesn't cause you any more trouble there. And then, so this road, it gets pretty windy, winds up to the north, and it goes, it skirts around the edge of a lake, and then you finally get to Wyndham after, I will say, with all the winding and stuff, it's about an hour.
Okay.
And it's, it's dark, so there's not really anything going on there. Like all the lights are off and, nobody's out and about.
So, how big is this place? Is it like a small town like the other one was?
Yeah, it's a little smaller.
Okay. Trying to think of what might be open right now as far as like a sheriff's office or something. I'll drive around a little bit, see if I can find one.
Okay. Yeah, so you would find, the only thing that you can find that looks like it might be open and with people up and about is there's a Catholic church.
Okay.
And that's got its lights on. And that's not too far from the city hall where the sheriff's office is, or the police office, sorry. And you can see the police cars parked out there, but obviously they would be open too, so.
Well, that might be a better idea. Is I'll go to the church, as I know that they take people in times of need. As I'll go and I'll see if the door opens. If not, then I'll try and knock on the door loudly to try and get some attention.
Yeah, it is open, and it's built in that style, the Catholic church style, and it's got the big doors, and they do open, and you can see into the the sanctuary there with the candles and the saints and things like that.
Okay. I want to bring her with me. I don't want to leave her in the car alone.
Okay.
And I head in and call out the hello if I don't see anybody.
Yeah, so a priest appears pretty quickly and comes towards you, and he's like, "Welcome. What can I do for you?" And you can see that she's already, like, as soon as you walk in there, she doesn't seem like she's paying much attention, but she does the cross, when she walks in. So it seems likely to you that she might be Catholic because she seems to know what to do here. And she does seem calmer. But yeah, the priest walks forward. "What can I do for you?"
Good evening, Father. I was hoping that I might get some help with, I'll look over at her, say, well, maybe, do you have somewhere where we can talk?
It's the house of God. We can talk anywhere. Did you need some privacy? We can go back to my office.
That would be appreciated.
Okay. So yeah, he leads you back. Gladys, she stops at this where they've got all the candles, and she's trying to light a candle, but her fingers, they're not working very well, and she's fumbling it quite a bit.
Well, I'll leave her there. So, okay. I really didn't want her in the room when we were discussing this, but yeah, once we get back into his office, I'll take a seat across from him and let him know that this is going to be very difficult to hear, and then tell him a version of the truth that I'd found this woman, as she had been taken from her husband and had some unspeakable things done to her, as the people who had done that are still at large, and that I'm hoping that he would be able to house her while I try and go and get her husband, so that not only to be reunited, but that they can decide what they want to do from there.
Yes, of course. You can leave her with me. The poor thing. We'll look after her. I'll have Sister Mary Agnes see to her.
As I appreciate it. As she says some weird things now and then, but other than one bout of hysteria, she's pretty calm.
Well, she's been through quite a trauma, if what you say is true.
Yes, she has. And I'll try and be back as soon as I can with her husband, as that way, hopefully, get things sorted out. I appreciate your help, Father, and I'll stand up and extend my hand.
Yeah, he shakes your hand. He's like, "God bless you, and good luck to you."
Thank you.
We'll keep a close eye on her.
All right. And with that, I'll start to head back out and hopefully out into the car and back to town.
Okay. Yeah, so as you head back out, she's still there looking at the candles, but she whips her head around and sees you and says, "The great eye can't see in here, but he sees you." And then she just goes back to the candle, like you're not even there.
I'll turn to the priest and say, I'll be back as soon as I'm able.
Okay.
With a shrug.
All right, yeah. So back into the car then, and it starts up, and it's a pretty uneventful ride for you back to town. And you're going to go back all the way to town?
Yeah, let's head back to town to don't know if I'm going to go to Elmer's just yet, but I'll go back to where I was going to meet up with Oscar and Rob.
Okay.
So that I could let them know that where she is and see if they have any objections to me going and telling her husband. And I have my own reservations about that just because I don't know who all's in on it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So then, yeah, you can head to where, Rob would have said this is about where the house is. And now you guys are at the house and you were going to go check on it, Rob?
Yeah, just knock on the door.
Yeah. So there's no answer.
All right.
Like when you walk up to the door, you can see there's no curtains. You can see enough to notice that there's nothing in there. The house has been emptied out.
Okay. I'll just check if the front door is locked or not.
It is locked.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll head back to the car and
there's also there's a little box with flyers and it's like for sale and it's that house.
yeah, I'll grab one, put it in my pocket, but I'll head back to the car and talk to Mr. Herman. Yeah, sorry about this. Sometimes if another guy's already squatting here, they get weird about it. I've been run off before. It's like I killed a deer in the king's forest or something like that. They get a little territorial, but nobody's home. We'll have to jimmy a lock or something, though.
All right, Robbie. Is there, I guess that changes from location to location. I was going to say, is there like a cellar to this place? Basement?
There is a set of steps in the back that lead down to a door that would be underground.
All right.
Basement door.
Yeah, I'll see if that door's locked.
It is.
How thick does this door look? Do you think I could kick it?
Yeah, it seems pretty thick. The glass doesn't seem very thick, though.
All right. Yeah, take out the gun and bust out the glass.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's no trouble to reach your arm in and get it unlocked, and then you can immediately smell the basement smell. But inside there, it's dark.
Yeah, I'll pull out my lighter and...
Yeah, so there's nothing in there. It's just a bare earth floor with the brick walls that they use, and whatever they stored down here, it's gone now.
All right.
So, it's a pretty good size basement, and it's, you can walk upright in it, but there's nothing in there. And then across the room, you can see the stairs that would lead up into the rest of the house.
All right. Yeah, let's head up there, see if I can open the front door from there.
Okay. Yeah, so no trouble. So you walk through the basement stairs into a kitchen where all the appliances have been removed, and then into a living room, and you can open up the front door for Rob. And then you've got, it's a single story house, but it's a good size house, but it's pretty quick to check all the rooms and see that the same is true for the rest of the house. It's completely empty and all the furnishings have been removed, being ready to be sold.
Man,
or be put on the market. So
can I have like a lamp in my trunk or something? Like an old kerosene burner or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'll go get that.
The electricity has not been turned off. The porch light was on, but so the electricity hasn't been turned off, but everything else is gone.
I'll turn the porch light off once we're all inside too.
Okay.
Don't want them seeing that from the road, unless that's a signal. Would Alexander think that odd? I'll also drag in my guns and ammo, start the reloading process on them.
Okay. And what do we do with the prisoner?
Well, I imagine if he went around to find us a way in, I'll keep an eye on him. And if he gives the signal from the door, I'll start bringing him in.
Okay.
Put him in one of the rooms, preferably not near the front of the house.
Yeah, they got any room that maybe like a closet or something?
Yeah.
Walk-in closet.
Yep.
Just the one exit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw him in there.
Hopefully he'll be coherent enough in a bit here to answer some questions.
Yeah, he's not stirring yet, but you do notice now that you're hauling him around that he's just got the worst hygiene.
Right.
He stinks so bad, He might have
kind of used to it though.
He might have even soiled himself when he got hit on the head.
I'll take a look at him. Sometimes these head hits can go the wrong way. So I'll do some first aid on him.
Okay.
See if I can even bring him around now. Once we're settled in here, I'll go in there and attend to him.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so you start looking at him, but
Not successful.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to you like anything's wrong with him. He's just
Right.
knocked out and he doesn't know how to bathe. That's pretty much it. So he's still breathing steady, and who knows when he'll wake up.
Don't worry about it, Robbie. Country folk like him got a thick skull. He'll be fine.
Now we just wait. How are we going to get word to Mr. Spates?
Well, you told him where we were going.
Right,
so-
I gave him a rough idea.
Well,
Hopefully you can find it okay.
I can sit around out by the edge of the woods, lay low. Not many people seem to come this way.
All right. I'll stay in here and keep an eye on our
Okay. Yeah.
prisoner.
So we'll just skip ahead then to when Tony rejoins you, and you can see him turn into that driveway slowly as if he's looking, but then hey, this is where we are. And so now you guys are there at the house with this prisoner.
Dang fool tried to get out of the car, moving full speed.
Well, I'm relieved that you guys got him, as I was expecting the worst, that he'd make it back to town.
Yep.
So I managed to store, I don't know what her last name was, Gladys something,
McDermott.
but
We took
Dermot,
that,
yeah. As,
we took the crystal walkie-talkie with us, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got it. Unless one of you guys took
No,
it from me.
If you got it, you got it. Good with that. All right, sorry, John.
Yeah.
What were you-
As, managed to stash Mrs. Dermot over the next town with the church. So
McDermott.
they'll take care of her. McDermott. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll take care of her while we sort this out.
So you guys are talking about this, and you hear this like whistle cut through the house all of a sudden. It's like the communicators from the original Star Trek. And then you hear a voice come through saying, "Freddy, where are you? Come back."
Right.
We recognize the voice?
Yeah. But also you recognize, all of you who've ever used any form of radio communications, that it's the clearest sound you've ever heard come from a radio. There's no static. There's no interference.
Sounds
It's almost like he's right in the room.
I was about to
there.
say that.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
be-
probably scared the
But
pants off me.
yeah, and you recognize Deputy Alexander's voice. "Freddy, where are you? Come back."
Well, I'll just freeze and sort of look at the other two, and
So you look at it, you can see like the crystals are lighting up,
yeah.
and you can see the electricity going around the coiled wire.
And there was really only that one that looked like we could manipulate to
Yeah.
speak back.
Right. That, with just your cursory examination, you could just see the button. It's like a red button.
Right.
So, I mean, with just your cursory examination.
I'll put my gun back in my holster
Mhm.
and look at Tony and Robbie.
Think no answer's best policy here. 'Cause
Yeah, and
that's
for
so
imitation.
clear. Yeah, they're gonna know.
"Freddy, you damn drunk. You're supposed to have been here by now. Come back." And then finally, "Freddy, you're going to regret this." And then
I think this might be our opportunity to grab him. You think he's gonna go out to that farm?
I think you're right.
Could be.
Is the other one secure enough that we feel comfortable leaving him here?
Got cuffs on his hands and feet.
Yeah.
I've been in those enough times. They're hard to get out of.
Who knows? You
So-
might be able to pop him, but he didn't seem too crazy when I knocked him out.
Who else would use this place?
Another squatter like us, maybe, or whoever.
Any way to
The bank.
warn him away?
Well, it's empty because the bank repossessed it. And based on the flyer that Rob grabbed, they're going to put it on the market to sell. So you don't know for sure when they'll start showing it or not. Like, it could be tomorrow or it could be in a week. Actually, everybody give me let me see what you got here. Yeah, I think spot hidden would be best. Everybody do a spot hidden for me.
Almost a fumble.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, don't any of you see any?
Man, I almost might push.
And what's tomorrow, Monday? They could be out here. or
Right.
realtors or whatever you call them.
Well, so basically that's it. It's like you don't know when they'll start showing the place.
It's a toss of the dice.
Then you hear a muffled shouting come from that closet.
Looks like he's awake.
Let me out of here.
Either we put him down or we take him with us. But either
Let me
way,
outta here.
guilty's guilty.
I'll go over to the door and I'll open it up. You, Freddy?
No. What am I doing here?
whoever-
Why'd you do this? Let me free.
Whoever Freddy is, Deputy Alexander's mighty peeved right now.
So you can see terror wash over his face. You killed Freddy. Or no, he doesn't say that. He says, they killed Freddy. He's one of my friends that I told you about. They got killed. Why do you got me handcuffed?
Because you're the only witness to what we done.
It was you?
And we're going to do it to you if you don't answer some questions real quick.
Oh, what do you want to know?
What's going on in town with Deputy Alexander?
Well, I don't know.
There's a guy I knew. He liked to do this. I'll shoot him once in the foot.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you shoot him in the foot and he lets out the most blood curdling scream, blood's spurting from his ruined boot. It's like, why did you do it? I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know what's going on in town. I live at the farm. I live at Freddy's farm.
Where you're feeding humans to pigs.
Well, they got to eat. I don't know anything about that. That's Freddy's thing. He works for Alexander, and we just do what he says.
You don't know anything what's going on with the town.
No.
What's this eye you're talking about all the time?
All right. So
I'll get ready to shoot him in the head.
So yeah, you say that. He's like, the terror from the stars.
Aye, why don't you tell me about it?
And he puts his lips closed as much as he can, and he shakes his head. So what do you got? Do you got a psychology?
Yeah.
You can try it.
Nope.
Yeah. So he just shakes his head.
Well,
He's not going to answer. Right. But you do notice a little difference. Like he was terrified and he's in pain,
yeah, now he's not.
but he's resolute about this.
Well, I'm going to hate to break it to you, but Tony already told me to put one in you. And I kind of agree with him after what you lot did.
Well, I didn't do anything. I just worked there. I just do what...
Yeah, you did a good job working there. I seen what your handiwork is.
Well, that was the other fellas.
And unfortunately, you don't seem to know a whole lot.
No, I know a lot.
You know what that makes you, right?
What?
Useless.
No, I can...
I'll put the gun to his forehead.
Yeah. So this guy also, as you interact with him, you come to the conclusion that, like, in general society, he would be called slow.
Yeah.
He's not stupid. He's like, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like there's something
That's too bad.
that didn't go the way it ought to have gone. But, he's like, no, I'm not useless. I could help.
Help how?
I can work.
I hate to break it to you, but you only got one good foot.
No, that doesn't even barely hurt. Look, Deputy Alexander's in charge. Whatever's going on, he's in charge. He gives Freddy the orders, and Freddy's terrified of him, and he does whatever he says. And
Well,
hell, I'm terrified of Freddy, so I do whatever he says. That's all. I didn't.
we're about to
anything
go
wrong.
get Deputy Alexander because he's heading to your farm. We're going to try to beat him there
Oh, why is he going to Freddy?
because Freddy didn't say nothing.
Freddy, that happens all the time. Freddy drinks more than any 4 people and passes out.
How
What do
many
you think
times have you seen Deputy Alexander at the farm?
Just once, a few months ago.
What was he out there for?
I don't know. He was talking to Freddy.
You know,
That's it.
Oscar,
Not long after that, bodies started showing up. Freddy'd be going to town and he'd bring bodies back and we'd feed the pigs.
he's
I don't
still
know.
got 2 good knees.
Yeah, see? So I'm not useless. I've got 2 good knees.
That was a threat.
Oh, well, don't hurt me. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm not even in charge.
You don't know anything, unfortunately.
I know a
and
lot.
we can't trust you.
I know a lot.
You're going to break out of here
I
first
know.
chance you get.
I wouldn't do that. First
You
of
wouldn't?
all,
Why
no.
wouldn't you?
If you tell me not to, I won't. But also, I know that Deputy Alexander is not going to go out to that farm just because Freddy didn't answer whatever that magic radio is.
Even if Freddy's
That
in a
happens
lot of
all
trouble.
the time. Yeah, maybe he'd go there in the morning. I doubt it. Maybe he'd go there if he doesn't hear from Freddy tomorrow. But Freddy always gets drunk and passes out, and he tells us if he's not around, not to mess with that radio. And we don't. You don't want to get on Freddy's bad side. Trust me.
Okay.
So yeah.
You
So
ever go into town?
I'm just a farm, yeah.
Pick up any of them bodies?
Sometimes Freddy make me go with him if there's multiple bodies and some of them are heavy or whatever. I'd go with him because I'm a good worker.
You are. That's what I hear.
I work on that farm.
Ask him about the women in the house. Where'd they get them from and why?
You knocking over cars? Travelers that are passing by?
Well, I don't know where the cars. But I don't have anything to do.
I'll check my.
I didn't do what, like, there was the other fellas with the women. I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I wouldn't. The great mind might see me, and then he just, what you're used to seeing now, he like starts rocking a little bit and his jaws slack and he's sort of staring through you.
I'll look at Robbie.
Can I do a psychology, see if I pick anything up there?
Yeah.
As I'll spend the 7 luck to make that a success.
Oh, Oscar got an extreme. Okay. So with that, what you can determine is he would, when he makes mention of like the great mind, it immediately reminds you of things you've heard or read of like the most extreme cases of hypnosis, right? The way he snaps to another state. But also it has a religious component because it's not too dissimilar from when you hear people say Jesus, Mary, and Joseph or Hail Mary, whatever, any of those things. It's like a religious thing. But, and with your psychology roll, you know that he's certainly not being honest about his activities on the farm, like with the women.
All right.
But
can I put part of that psychology roll over towards Rob? Is that cool with you, Brandon?
yeah.
So Travis,
Yeah.
if I plug this guy,
Well, I'm not going to like leave the party if that's what you're asking. I'm right now, Rob's just watching him close, trying to figure out if anything can be gained from him, because I've intimidated a number of people in his career. So he was seeing if that was going to be applicable here. And he's just kind of thinking no, but he doesn't really know because he's not the executioner sort. So he doesn't really know that's in yours. He'd be surprised. That's for sure.
Yeah. But like the psychology roll, like another thing you can gain from it is that he's not, what's the best way to put it? Like his reticence to answer is probably more likely due to his limited capacity to understand the particular questions versus any sort of.
And that's where the surprise would come in, I guess, if you did execute him. Cause I'm seeing that, so I'm like, and also I'm not immune to sanity loss for murder.
Yeah. Cause he's got like that, those responses that you attribute to like extremely low IQ people, like in the situation he's in, telling you that he's not useless because he's a good farm worker. That doesn't even.
I also figure I've probably been around a bunch of these type of guys. Military seems, especially in wartime, seems to kind of get a bunch of them.
Ropes them up.
But yeah, so he's staring off and he's sort of just doing a little rocking as if the pain in his foot's forgotten.
Yeah, so I'll give Rob a quick glance, kind of get a read on him.
Yeah, so right now I'm just frowning at him because Rob would be naive enough, I suppose, to think that
this is all going to be fine.
Most people would be like him and they wouldn't go to that step, right?
All right, I'll put my gun away.
I mean, he's already a little surprised you shot him in the foot, but that's almost a Deathwatch trademark.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. I would have had to punch him in the foot.
Actually, I won't put my gun away. I'll still have it kind of pressed against his head, but I'll field the question towards Rob. So, Robbie, what do we do with him?
I don't know, boss, but I got a lot of doubts about going to that farmhouse now. I can say that.
Well, I think Tony's right. We need to grab Alexander. This is going to be a good time. He probably ain't going to show up in there till the morning. So that's a lot of time to lay low, prepare our ambush. What do we do with this guy, Robbie?
Well, he seems pretty well locked up right now.
Nah, he is.
Throw him in the trunk, take him with us. If we need to, we can do it there and hide the body.
Didn't ask you, Tony. I'm asking Robbie.
Look, I'm not a executioner. I don't mind hurting somebody in defense of my own life, I suppose.
That's true.
I hadn't really considered it if that's what you're really asking me.
No, just seeing what type of metal you're made out of. This
Well-
man's a rapist, disposes of bodies, probably has a couple under his belt.
Yeah, well, I've been on the wrong side of the justice system recently, so I know it doesn't always run as intended.
That's true.
But I guess a part of me is holding out hope that maybe there's a place we can put him and we can see it done the right way.
All right, Robbie.
But I guess if that doesn't happen, it does fall to us. So maybe a little more time, Mr. Herman, if that's okay with you.
All right. I'll put my gun away. Help me move him out of this closet. I like Tony's idea. We'll put him in the trunk, but first we got to patch up this foot.
Oh, yeah, I can try to take a look at that if you guys don't have.
I've seen your handiwork. I'll give it a try.
Yeah, let's do a first aid here.
Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, you got 70%? Nice.
I was pulling bullets out of my buddies back in the war.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't dealt with that before.
This ain't nothing. Clean through. Probably gonna maybe walk with a limp depending on how it heals up.
Yeah, you're able to get him patched up so he stops bleeding. And he doesn't come back to lucidity through the whole process. So.
All right. We've been active most of the day. Fatigue's going to be sitting in real heavy soon, especially after the adrenaline dumps completely. I say we try to make it back to that farm, lay low, maybe clean it up a little bit,
Sounds like a plan to
Then-
me.
take a nice nap. All right. Help me out here, Robbie. And I'll pick him up and start carrying him out to the car with Rob's help.
Okay.
If it gets out of line, Robbie, though, you're the one's going to put him down.
I don't know
He's
about
your
that,
dog
Mr. Herman.
now.
I'm just driving for you. I got caught up in this. It doesn't work like that, you know. I'm working for you now, but you take that away and you're a guy and I'm a guy, and that makes it totally different. So if you don't mind, let's just keep it that way.
All right. So you're putting him in the trunk?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's no trouble at all to get him bundled in there and he doesn't cause any disturbance for you. And you're going to go back to Jensen's farm?
Yeah, we're going to try to do a quick, get the car or that truck. I think it crashed. Or did it come to a stop? I can't
Yeah.
quite remember.
It did. It just sort of came to a stop. At the
Yeah,
field.
get that turned around. I don't really think there's too much we can do about any of the gore that got spread because of the gunfighting, but, drag most of the bodies, if we didn't already, over to the pig sty and toss everything in and then, I don't know, sit up somewhere and take a
Okay.
nap.
All right. Oh, and all three of you were going?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So it's no trouble to get all that done, and you get situated in that farmhouse there to wait. And let me do some rolls here.
As if that Tommy gun's still laying around, we should definitely grab that, regardless of whether we use it, as it definitely makes a statement.
That's true.
Okay.
I think what is it called? Not indirect fire, but
Suppressing?
suppressing fire. That you just it gives everybody you're suppressing the option to do the dodge, basically. So you're chewing up their turn, regardless of whether you miss or not.
All right. Yeah. So the night passes uneventfully, and in the morning, that radio, Deputy Alexander starts coming through that radio again. Freddie, don't make me come out there. But that's the only attempt. He makes one attempt and says, Freddie, don't make me come out there. But then you don't hear from him again. So then it's time to just wait.
Yeah, I'll go wait in that thicket by the driveway that leads into this place.
Okay.
And so my idea, I guess I could discuss this with them, would be that when he comes down the road, I'll just go in. Actually, I guess the barn could work too, depending on how he wants to park, but I'll essentially just try to come in behind him.
As I was going to say, if that barn has a second story, I can get up there. Unless, Rob, you want to be up there and I'll be out front. And then we all either, I guess, first floor, second floor. But I'd feel good about someone covering just in case it's more than just him.
Yeah, I'll do it. As I said at the outset, I ain't much of a shot, though.
I almost
wherever
wonder
you
if
need
I
me,
should
that's
take
where I'll be.
Overwatch.
I'd say I got, what is that, about a 45% chance hitting any shot at any given time. With a rifle, that is. I don't know, maybe more like 40. Used to be a better shot, but
The old eyes, they go kind of crossed.
Okay. So at about 8 a.m, now, Oscar, you were going to be down by the road in the thicket. Is that what you said?
Well, I thought that might be a little too far. So behind the barn or up in the barn,
Okay.
Or maybe not up in the barn, but in the barn, hidden away or something like that. Something so where if he pulls in and goes into the house, I can get in behind him.
Okay. And then what about you guys?
Well, I guess I'm going to take up this. You want me to take the rifle this time? Is that what you were suggesting, Mr. Spates?
Yeah, probably a rifle
Okay.
will work out.
And a word of advice, boys. Don't let him draw. He's quick on that trigger.
That's true. Fair enough. Yeah, and I'll get up in the farmhouse, second story window somewhere,
Okay.
and just wait for my part.
You're in the farmhouse or the barn?
Which place do you want me, Mr.
Well,
Spates?
farmhouse probably wouldn't be too bad, as depending on line of sight when he pulls up, as
And
long
where
as you don't lose him. If you're going to be farmhouse there, then I will probably go into the barn if I can.
So we're all hanging in the barn. I guess I'll stay in the house then.
Well, are
F it.
you in the barn, or I thought you were in the thicket?
No, because we got a long driveway here, John. It's country
Yeah.
housing.
Okay. So right now
I'll be in the house then, bottom house.
Okay. Rob and Tony are in the house and Oscar's in the barn.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay.
Hide away, jump him when he comes through the door.
Yeah,
All
that's the idea, as long as he comes in.
Okay. So yeah, around then you can hear a car coming, and Oscar, you see a car pull up alongside close to the entrance of the barn, about where they would park to dump the bodies out. And a man steps out of it, but it is not Alexander. But here, got this map just for illustration purposes, and I'll share with you guys. It's the same one we were using. I'll give you a basic idea what it looks like there. And then a man steps out of it. Now his car even says police chief, and this man steps out of it, and he's just looking around right now out in that yard area.
I'll draw my gun, check chamber, wait for him, see what he's going to do.
Okay.
But I think he already knows something's up if he's been out here before. Too quiet. Matter of fact, I think I'll whisper that to Tony.
It's too quiet.
Yeah. Well, not that it's too quiet, but that, for the people that were here, too quiet. I think he knows something's up if he's been here before. Get ready.
Yeah. So this guy, what?
So if he's just standing there, like looking around, might take the risk of making some noise inside to try and draw him in to the house.
Yeah. So right now, that's exactly what he's doing. He's an older gentleman, and he's got, white hair and a hat on, and he's in his uniform, and he's just standing outside his car looking around.
So I'll move some furniture or something around loud enough to try and draw attention.
Okay.
Stomp around, yeah.
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 Just make some general noise, right? Like, I don't know, maybe start talking a little bit about
The eye and the
Yeah, well, not that, but just general stuff that what I would assume farmhand talk would be, as far as like, you got to go and maybe go pull those bodies out of the pig pen, as
general farm
themselves to death. General farm stuff
Okay.
for this farm at least.
Well, it seems to work as soon as you start making that noise, he starts heading up to the house, and he shouts out, "Jensen, are you here? Jensen, been sent to check on you."
How far away is he from the front door?
Well, he's on the porch now.
On the porch.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go for it. Just gonna rush him and try and tackle him off the porch.
Okay. All right. So you should be able to.
What's your brawl, John?
I think we're all about
75% chance of success.
All right, we're all good. I'm the weak one here.
Yeah, you should be able to target on the combat tracker there and go ahead and do your brawl.
Nice.
Success.
All right.
Hard success. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So you catch him by surprise, but like you're rushing towards him, and you see his face as you're approaching. He looks up at you, but he's got like a smile, and he's like, "Hey," and then you tackle him.
Yeah, I'll rush out right behind Tony. Have
Okay.
my gun ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got, you've knocked him off of the porch into the ground, into the dirt, and he doesn't seem to be putting up much of a resistance.
I'll
And he's got
Time
this
to-
smile on his face. He's like, Hey, a little bit early for fun, huh?
I'm gonna put
It's
a
the
round.
country.
Does he have handcuffs on him?
Oh, you want to wrestle?
Yeah, he does.
All right. Yeah, I'll try to flip him over and start cuffing him.
Okay. So yeah, you get him cuffed, and he's like, "Hey, I'm out here looking for Freddie Jensen. Seen him?"
I'll get on.
Check the pig pen.
I'll get on the other side of his arm and see it, like, to help Tony pick him up and put him, or do we want to keep him on the ground?
Yeah, we can pick him up, but if he's got a sidearm, I'm going to secure that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, Tony tells him to check the pig pen.
Oh, is he feeding the pigs? Hey, what's the big idea with you handcuffing me? I'm the chief of police.
Are you now?
Oh, this is finally back from visiting, what was it, your mother?
What? Mother's been for 20 years.
Wherever you were at. That's good, though. Got some questions for you.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think I should be the one asking questions. I'm the chief of police.
I don't think you're much in a position here, Chief.
He still got that goofy look on his face?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, he's bemused. It's like, hey, what's going on, guy? Have you seen Freddie Jensen? The pig pen. Is he feeding the pigs? And he starts trying to walk over there.
No, I'm going to have to ask you to stay seated, sir.
Okay, you can go get him for me?
He's a bit incapacitated.
Well,
I don't know which one of us got him, but he took a round pretty good in the head. Well, I think that was me.
so you're...
Yeah, he's feeding the pigs, if you get my meaning
bushwhacked
now.
him. You're murderers.
All
right. Well, you're under arrest.
I don't think so, because it was in the fence, because when we got here, there was a woman tied up and another dead upstairs. Her corpse is still there. We didn't do none of that. Your boys did.
My boy.
Aye, your boys. You and Deputy Alexander, right?
Well, now you can see a look of fear across his face. And he's my deputy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's my deputy.
Why don't you tell us what's going on in your town, Sheriff?
Well...
Or Chief, whatever you are.
It's a nice town. It's good. It's a good, nice town for raising families.
Families that like to dissect live animals, yeah?
No, we don't have any of that.
Families that you bring in to get murdered.
Whoa,
it's been 3 different deaths that we've seen just in one day.
No, not in my town. There hasn't. I run a tight ship.
Tight ship that brings in a lot of bodies.
Check in on Miss Petunia.
No, can't say that I have.
What about? Let me get my note.
Pull out the old cop flip pad.
He's like, no, I've been busy, and then he sort of trails off. And what have I been? And then so do a list.
What about Mr. and Mrs. Dahlhoff? You been over to see them at all?
So he's like, I've been busy, and then he sort of starts mumbling under his breath, but you can hear him, and you hear him say, "What have I been doing?" See, I visited the Reverend, and then after that, I don't know what day is it?
Was it the 16th, 15th?
Yeah,
it's the 16th, Sheriff.
Well, that can't be.
Your deputy's been having the run of your town. Yeah, it's not turning out better.
Yes, my deputy.
Let me ask you this, Chief.
That reminds me.
What exactly were you out here doing?
Well, my deputy said I needed to come check on Freddie Jensen because he was supposed to come into town, but he didn't come into town.
Now, doesn't that seem like job for your deputy and not you?
Deputy says.
Think your deputy sent you out here to a trap. Think he was expecting us to get you.
So at that point, you can see darkness come over his face, and you can see that it's a look that his face is accustomed to, one of anger and frustration rather than this foolish grin that he's had on his face, because the eyebrows draw down. Why? That deputy of mine has got to go.
I agree with you, but we need to know why. What's he been doing?
So at that point, he's like, I can't rightly recall, and then he just stops dead, and he's like, the great mind said, and then he stops talking altogether. He starts staring up at the sky, and he's drooling.
We're not hearing anything else. No other cars on the road?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll be paying special attention for that, though.
Okay.
Since they have him, I don't really need to keep my gun on him exactly. So I'll be looking out towards the road.
Yeah, you're not hearing any sounds.
I'll lean over to Tony. I don't think he's going to be too much help. Whatever whammy they got going on in that town, they hit him pretty hard with it. I think we need to go to Alexander, or maybe this Reverend.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think he's going to be much help either. We can make a play for Alexander in the town, maybe, but whatever he's done to him has me a little on edge.
You guys are having this conversation and his head snaps back up to you and he's like, don't trust the Reverend. Don't ever. And then back to staring at the sky.
Hey, Chief, what Reverend is this? Which church?
Well, you had heard when he was mumbling, he said Reverend Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald?
But when you ask him this time, he doesn't respond. He's just staring up at the sky, drooling.
I think I'll go over to Robbie, or not like over to him. I'll kind of get close enough and shout, a Fitzgerald, a Reverend?
See at the Protestant church they had here?
The Methodist Episcopal
one, yeah.
church that Petunia went to regularly.
Yeah, I heard of them, and I'll give the church name. That's the Methodist Episcopal Church.
Well, son of a bitch.
I think that's the one Petunia was going to all the time.
Yeah, because it's not very far from her house at all.
I also think it was the church I was planning to go to on the first day.
Yeah, it was.
Guess maybe we dodged a bullet with that one, huh, Mr. Herman?
Or we could have saved some.
And
Maybe.
you had also noted that there was they seemed to be given services far more often.
Right, because she was going 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah. And you've also seen people even around town passing out flyers to go
get
see
to
the
the church.
Reverend's sermon, which is not normal.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Robbie. Keep an eye out.
You got it.
You want to make a play for this Reverend instead of Alexander? I mean, he's definitely a threat. I don't want him at our back, but us going by the church, even if we don't get out, might be worth it before we go and try and grab up Alexander. I don't see him coming out here if the chief doesn't come back.
I don't know. I think it might almost be worthwhile to go get Alexander first. I don't like the idea of him being at our back, especially if this Reverend is the one we got to be careful of.
Hey, Chief, where does Alexander live? Where does he sleep? Where does he stay?
It's the 29th
okay.
of February. Yeah, the chief isn't responding anymore.
But if this church is the epicenter of it, it's putting a whammy on a whole bunch of people in the town. We mess any of this up, we're likely to have that whole flock after us. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's, key players here, definitely the Reverend and Alexander. Have you guys heard of anybody else?
Well, I'd have to rake back in my memory to see if I'd seen anything like that now seems relevant. That was only just passing strange at the time.
Yeah, then it was like the Jensen gang that we took care of. Yeah, the kids that are weird.
Yeah. And the old man up on the telephone.
Yeah, he was smiling and laughing. But thinking about Alexander, he seemed a little like the chief here that day, He shot the guy in the house. He was not acting the right way.
That's true. But still, he's the one I'm worried about if it comes to violence.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely sent the chief out here. I don't know, however, whatever is going on is working, but...
All right. We'll head to the church if that's all right with you two then. I'll take Tony's lead. Let's get that other Jensen boy out of the trunk, make sure they're both watered, and we'll set them up here, maybe in that room.
Yeah, that's
in one of the rooms. We'll come back for them if we live.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Chief, on your feet. You're going to have to sit here for a while.
Yeah, I'll go call Rob down and have him help me with the guy in the back of the trunk.
Okay. Yeah, so it's short order. You can get those two situated, and they don't offer any resistance. They don't even seem to realize where they are anymore.
Yeah.
They're just sort of staring off into space and muttering.
See if we can get them some food and water of some sort. Worst comes to worst, leaving them bowls by them so they can eat it like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the chief, I would really want that to happen, but the other guy, I think, kind of deserves that. And head into town.
Okay.
You know where this church is, Robbie?
Yeah, it's pretty close to where we were staying.
All right.
You probably saw it yourself.
Yeah, it's just a couple blocks away from Petunia's house.
Now, how are we going to play this? Because I think the long arms probably aren't a good thing to drag in.
No.
Well, we've got 2 sidearms now, and we got a Thompson.
That's true.
Well, I was thinking about what you said earlier about drawing anybody down on us that's underneath this reverend. It didn't quite make sense to me, but I think I kind of got it. But if they're hearing a lot of activity in there, maybe they come running, Just watching Tony swing around his fist there. I say bring him, of course, because you never know what's what. But between Tony and I, and you carried yourself well against that fellow with the hatchet last night, I don't think one little reverend's going to be a problem for 3 men who know how to handle themselves in a fight.
All right. How's about we not poke around in the daytime?
Yeah.
We lie low back at that house, wait for nighttime, and then we go on in, check out the church, maybe see what we're dealing with.
Do you think that Alexander sent the chief because... no, that doesn't make sense because I met Alexander fairly early in the morning. I was thinking maybe he's up most of the night, and that's why he sent him out here, but I think honestly seems like that guy might not sleep very much.
I think he's got a hankering that something was going on. Bunch of new folk poking around. I think he was nervous. Also, could be he was busy elsewhere. Maybe he's the Reverend's personal errand boy.
I wonder if the Reverend just lives right in the church there. Sometimes priests do. He's got a little cottage on the property or whatnot. Can't say I was really paying attention or thinking about it before now.
Not too worried about whether or not we encounter him. Just poke around, see what he's up to. Then we can confront him.
And beat him up. Before he morphs into something weird.
Well, you do know from flyers being passed around that he is given some sermons today.
Well, that would be the funnest time to confront him.
We could send one of us in.
And, people have commented, especially Petunia, just about how amazing his sermons are. So
right.
it's taken on more of a light of entertainment rather than just spiritual talk or whatever. There's something about what he's been saying.
So, Robbie, you think you found religion?
Well, as best I can, yeah. Well, what do you think? How do you think he, if it's, like you say, getting these guys all whacked out on something all wackadoo, how do you think that happened?
Don't know.
Got them drink something when they take the communion? Give them something funny?
Could be any number of things. I think we're dealing with some weird stuff here. If you don't want to do it, you don't got to.
Whoever goes in, if you feel funny, get out.
Yeah. No, I'd be happy to.
Because I got to say, I'm a little interested to see it myself.
All right.
So what, are you, all of you or just 2 of you?
Just the 2 of them.
Okay. Maybe somebody to pull us out of the fire.
Yeah. I'll hang out.
Put us down if we start talking.
Yeah, I'll hang out in the car, have it kind of ready to go if need be.
Okay. Yeah. So the church is packed and the Reverend's giving his sermon. Everybody just seems like they're paying a lot of attention, but a couple of things you notice, especially you, Rob, because you know enough about the Bible. You spent enough time in the schools and stuff. So he's talking about, his sermon is about the parable of the sower and, how some of the seeds fell on stony ground and they didn't, they couldn't survive. And then he also spends a lot of time talking about how stuff from Leviticus about the rules for how to treat your slaves and things like that. But enough to know that he's taking it a different direction than it says in the Bible. So really his sermon is about that slavery is actually a good thing because those seeds that fell on stony ground, those are the people that just, they're not going to make it on their own. They really need somebody to be in charge of them. And so that's what his sermon is about how we really need to get back to, some people being in charge and others. And he spends a lot of time talking about people with reduced mental capacity in the town and how we really need to watch out for them by telling them what to do. And a few people get up in disgust and storm out when they see that he's taking it this direction.
Yeah.
But a lot of other people are just,
I do want to kind of make a mental note of who those people are, if I recognize any of them from my time here.
Yeah, no, you don't recognize any of them.
Okay.
They're just nameless townspeople, but
I will remark, Mr. Spates, I've been to church more than once, and this is a new one. Mm-hmm. You ever hear anything like this?
Never heard a holy man would preach like this.
Well, this isn't exactly normal.
But anyway, that's, that's his sermon is what he's talking about. And, when it ends, like you could see, both of you noticed while he was giving his sermon that he's very focused on the congregation. He definitely made note of you two because his eyes lingered on you for a moment longer or whatever. But when the sermon ends and people stand up and some start shuffling out and others are, talking with their friends or whatever, someone like I don't know what they call it in those churches, like a deacon or layman or whatever they call it. What's the word? Usher.
Right.
Does approach you two and say that the Reverend Fitzgerald would be interested in meeting you since you're new to his church. If you want to go introduce yourselves to him.
Start swinging.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll just look at Mr. Spates, but I'll probably let him answer. My shoulder blades are itching.
Yeah, I'll nod and gesture for him to lead the way, but try and whisper to Rob, hang back for just a little bit, and whisper to him to basically be ready for anything.
Yeah, I'll tell the usher is like, what? I'm just the chauffeur, but
he's gonna think you're one of the ones that should be
Catholic Hail Mary
enslaved. He's gonna hear you and think you have an intelligence score like in the 20s.
Right. Yep. I'm your builder class. I'll carry the stones.
I don't know much, but I do know a bit of the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was hearing today.
I can change the oil.
Yeah.
Put oil in the car. I can take it out of the car.
That's what oil's supposed to do. Go in or out.
I can dispose of the oil.
That's also what I'm supposed to do.
Well, he does say, we're all equal in the house of the Lord. The eyes of the Lord.
Yeah, but I don't go in for this sort of thing. I'm just here because my friend wanted me to drive him here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, he looks at you, Tony, and would you and your friend be interested in meeting the Reverend?
As I told him, yeah. And then, like I said, gesture, lead the way.
All right. So you go meet the Reverend, and he's a tall, thin man with graying hair and a warm smile, an infectious, warm smile, and he shakes your hands. And I noticed that you two gentlemen are new to the town, and I wanted to say how much I appreciate you coming to service here at my church. And I wondered what your story is. What brought you to our sleepy little town?
Thank you, Reverend, for warm welcome. Really just, out here just traveling, right? Seeing if there's a place that I can call home.
Well, Jesus spent most of his ministry traveling. There's a godliness in it. But yeah, everybody wants to settle down somewhere. I'm glad that you chose to come in here and see my sermon.
So how long have you been in the church here?
40 years. My whole life. Listen, a lot of people are wanting to talk to me, and so I just wanted to introduce myself and get introduced to you. But I did want to mention that we are having a special mass tonight, if you're interested. And if you are, it's at midnight, and come here, and I promise you will not be disappointed.
You'll walk away changed.
Mm-hmm. Many people have had their lives changed much for the better for the special mass that we're doing. As it turns out, there is something to the hour in which you hear the word of God that has an effect. And I would extend this invitation to you and your friend if you want to come. There'll be plenty of others here as well, but it's just a special mass that we're given to help people grow closer to God. So there's the invitation at midnight right here at midnight if you're interested.
Thank you, Reverend. Appreciate your kindness and your warmth inviting us into your town. As we'll be sure to see you at your special mass.
All right. Do both of you do a psychology?
No.
It's a hard success.
And a regular success. Okay, so both of you get the read that there's really nothing sinister about this guy. He really seems to be the way he seems. He seems to be very friendly and warm and very interested in you and interested in helping people grow closer to God. So that's the sense you both get from it.
Okay. I'll extend my hand and shake his hand and start to head back out with Rob.
Okay.
So what do you think? The special meetings when they get him with the funny juice?
That's what I'm expecting. Is I just don't know. I almost torn a little bit here.
Both of you do a listen.
Extreme.
Nice.
That's
Me too.
crazy. Well, so both of you here, as you're leaving this packed church, and there's people everywhere talking to each other, that multiple people make mention of the special mass and how they've gone to it before and how much of a difference it made in their lives. I mean, they all seem genuinely happy about it and excited that there's going to be another one. But then, yeah, you got Oscar out in the car there waiting for you. So you guys can rejoin him.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be leaning against the hood or whatever finishing rolling up a cigarette when they come walking out.
Okay.
Say maybe we ought to go for at least leave this area, just get rid of all the extra ears, but it's not what I was expecting.
Found religion, did you?
You're looking extra sharp at it.
Yeah.
I guess
Has a smoke in my lips. So
very weird version of it, as he invited us to this special mass, but that's where we're thinking that all this happens. I didn't feel anything weird. I don't feel any different right now. A lot of people talking about the special mass on the way out, so it seems like it's going to be a packed house. But
I was watching him close when you were talking to him. He seemed normal then. His sermon was a little off by what I've been to in the past, but that could just be me.
I almost wonder if he found something.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh, and he doesn't realize quite what it's doing to people.
True believer thinks he's doing good.
That's almost what it strikes me. Either that or we were a little hasty to assume that he was the head of this thing and Alexander knows as well and is taking advantage of whatever it is.
Do I know anything interesting about the hour that he wishes to perform these masses? Is there anything like in various other religions or whatnot?
Can I do an occult as well and see?
Yeah, get an occult roll.
Nothing comes to my mind.
Barely a success.
Yeah, but there's plenty of religious history points to, midnight being a time of the old ending and the new beginning. Also it being dark enough that all of the planets can be seen and the stuff like that. So.
All right. So we got to wait till midnight, huh?
Well, unless you want to take a run at Alexander.
How's about we go get some breakfast?
Yeah,
maybe see if anyone pops their heads up.
Okay. Well, we'll stop there for today. And then when we pick it back up, we'll be at breakfast and then we'll go forward from there.
Hell yeah,
right.
man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every day I get to do a tried and true Ronin interrogation tactic.
This has been a Deathwatch production. Thank you for listening.